Hey everybody, today we're going to be discussing The Great Gatsby by Francis Scott, so let's get into it. In this video, we're going to look at some of the major themes, look at some of the characters, and then we're going to answer the question at the end, that is, one of the enduring questions from this novel. We're going to look at it in two different ways. At the end, if you are new here and you want to learn English faster with me, make sure to hit subscribe, so we can learn English together. Let's get into it. So this novel is set in the 1920s, and it's set in Long Island, New York. It tells the story of Jay Gatsby, who is a millionaire, but nobody knows anything about his past. There's a lot of mystery around him. He throws these huge parties, but nobody really knows him. He's very lonely. And the story is narrated by a man named Nick Carraway. He moves in next door to Gatsby. He's kind of like the person who acts as a bridge between the old money people and the new money people. Gatsby is what we would call today a nouveau riche. He's a new rich. He made his money sort of in business, but we're not quite sure what he did to make his money. He made it in the bootlegger days, so it was probably illegal. Versus the other rich people in the story, they inherited their wealth. They were just born into wealthy families. The plot revolves around Gatsby and his attempt to win back an old love, a woman named Daisy Buchanan, who is married to Tom Buchanan. And there are also a few other important female characters. One is Jordan Baker, who is a friend of Daisy's, and she's a professional golfer. And then there's Myrtle Wilson, who is the wife of a man named George Wilson. She's not very happy in her marriage, so she has an affair with Tom Buchanan. This causes a lot of conflict in the novel. One of the main themes in the novel is wealth and social class. So we see these two different types of rich people. You have the new rich, who are not respected by the old rich, who inherited their money, and we see how this affects Gatsby and his attempts to become part of this elite group of people. Another theme is love and relationships, and we see different types of relationships in the story. We see the relationship between Gatsby and Daisy, which is passionate but also destructive. And we see the unhappy relationships of the other characters, such as Tom and Myrtle. Also, we see the relationship between Nick and Jordan and how he becomes disillusioned with that. Another big theme in the novel is the American dream. The characters in the novel are all chasing different versions of the American dream. Whether it's Gatsby's dream to win back Daisy, or Tom Buchanan's dream of maintaining his social status, or George Wilson's dream of providing a better life for him and his wife. All right, let's move on to characters now. I've already mentioned a few of them, so let's look at them in a little more detail. First, we have Jay Gatsby. As I said before, he's this mysterious millionaire who throws these huge parties. He's very romantic, and he's in love with Daisy. He's also very determined, and he's not afraid of hard work. We don't know much about his past, but we do know that he grew up poor and he made his fortune in business. Some people might describe him as a dreamer because he's always reaching for something that might not be possible, getting Daisy back. Next, we have Daisy Buchanan. She's the woman that Gatsby is in love with, and she represents the American dream for Gatsby. She's beautiful and wealthy, and she seems to have everything that Gatsby wants, but she's also very superficial, and she's not willing to give up her comfortable life for Gatsby. Then we have Tom Buchanan. He's Daisy's husband, and he's a representative of the old money. He's arrogant and racist, and he cheats on his wife with Myrtle Wilson. He does not accept Gatsby, and he looks down upon him because he's new money. Next, we have Nick Carraway, the narrator of the story. He's from the Midwest, and he moves to Long Island to work in the bond business. He's a very observant person, and he's a good judge of character. And then we have Jordan Baker. She's a professional golfer, and she's dating Nick at one point. She's very cynical, and she doesn't believe in the American dream. She represents the moral decay of the wealthy class. Now let's move on to the most common question that's asked about this book after students read it in school. And the question is, why does Gatsby throw these huge parties? Why does he invite all of these people to his home if he doesn't even know them? Well, there are two answers that we could give. The first one is a simple answer, and the second one is a little bit more complex. The simple answer is that Gatsby throws these huge parties because he wants to attract the attention of Daisy. He knows that she will come to one of his parties with her husband Tom, and then he can get a chance to talk to her alone. However, there is a more complex reason behind Gatsby's parties. His parties symbolize the American dream. By throwing these huge parties, Gatsby is able to show off his wealth, and he's able to impress people from all over Long Island. He thinks that if he can just get the attention of Daisy, then she will fall in love with him again. Okay, now let's look at this question from another angle. So instead of saying why, let's say why not. Let's imagine that we are in this situation and we're thinking about throwing a party. So let's ask ourselves, why not throw a big party? What are the benefits? Well, the first benefit is that you get to show off your house. So if you have a beautiful house, you get to show it off. You get to show off your beautiful gardens and your beautiful pool and your beautiful furniture. And if you're throwing a huge party, then there are lots of people in your house, and they're going to admire your beautiful things. Another reason why you might throw a big party is to meet new people. So if you're a new person in town and you don't know anybody, you could throw a party and lots of people will come and you can meet lots of new friends. Or let's say that you're throwing a party for a special occasion, maybe your graduation or your birthday. And this is a way to celebrate with lots of people you care about. Another reason to throw a big party is to show people how successful you are. Maybe you've been working really hard for many years on something, and now you can show off your success with a big party. Now, Gatsby does all of these things. He shows off his beautiful mansion, he meets new people from all over Long Island, and he's trying to show off how successful he is. But when we ask why, it makes us think more deeply about our actions, and in Gatsby's case, we start to realize that these parties are not really making him happy. He's throwing these huge parties, but he's very lonely. So sometimes having lots of things doesn't bring happiness, and sometimes showing off our success doesn't make us any happier either. It can actually cause problems for us. All right, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe so we can learn English together. Thank you for watching. Bye.